What's happening, YouTube? You in the building with the Black Avengers of current culture. Me, Larry, T Streams, and we got a super fan, a super chatter, subscriber, longtime friend of mine from 13 years ago, my man, my two fellas. What's up?
What's good, man?
Hey, before we get going, I have to take over your channel for a minute. Brothers, can we do this in unison?
Yes.
On three. Happy birthday to you.
Man, that was yesterday,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mom.
Man.
Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you, fellas. All I can say is thank you. And since each and every one of you Negroes is older than me, I expect all y'all to be able to sing like Luther Vandross. What in the
what happened here? That good, bro. So I gotta like take it easy.
Oh, okay. I feel you. So for those of you that haven't been following my channel well, you know I'm always trying to engage my audience. I'm always trying to be innovative and figure out ways to get people involved. When you become a super fan and you super chat, you will be sitting here on a Friday night like my homeboy Matu. And without further ado, let's jump into what we're covering. Pop culture. Y'all know we got to talk about Earl Thomas, letting technology get him caught up in the bed sheets. Then we're gonna bounce to Ahmad's shooters. Finally got arrested. It's May the 8th. That guy's Ahmad's birthday, if he would be still been living. Y'all know that's near and dear to my heart because my birthday was yesterday. So we got to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
Marvel has got some Secret Invasion news they're dropping. We're going to give you our recommended what you should watch over the weekend. And when we get to the money section, we're talking about building credit. What makes up your credit? How can you improve your credit? And last but not least in politics, we're going back to Detroit to talk about Gretchen Whitmer. And we're going to talk about that young local politician, the black lady, who brought the Black Panthers to escort her into the office, and ain't nobody touch her. All they did was look. Ain't nobody touch her. So fellas, first and foremost, let me give y'all Earl Thomas. And y'all know I got clips. So DJ, I need you to find that clip and make sure you get the right one. I think this is it, but don't hold me to it.
According to reports from TMZ, Earl's wife, Nina Thomas, held a loaded gun less than a foot from his head after she caught him cheating with another woman. Just a little while later, Nina decided to check on her husband's whereabouts by logging into his Snapchat account, which is when she found videos of Earl with another woman. Nina says she used Earl's Snapchat account to track his location to a nearby Airbnb, but not before calling two other women to help her confront Earl at the rental. To make things even weirder, when Nina and her friends arrived at the rental house, they discovered Earl and his brother, Seth, naked in bed together with other women. One of the women in the house shot cell phone video of the incident, which reportedly shows Nina pointing the gun at Earl's head. When speaking with Earl's alleged mistress at the scene, she claimed Nina also threatened her and the other woman in the bed, pointing the gun at them and yelling, "I got something for all you hoes." That woman also claims one of Nina's friends was carrying a knife and swinging it aggressively during the altercation. After speaking with everyone at the scene, cops ultimately arrested Nina and both of her friends. Nina was booked for burglary of a residence with intent to commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, family violence.
Boy, fellas, let me break this down for you, then I'm going to pass the baton to y'all. We got everything we could want in a story in this one. All I can say is, damn it, Earl, you're making it hard for brothers out there that want to cheat. Hell, it's almost to a point nowadays, fellas, if you're married or you're in a serious relationship, you either going to have to detach from technology to do this type of thing, or you're just not going to do it. I'm going to give this one to the guest first and foremost. My man, Matu, give us your quick 60-second rundown of what's going on with this. This chick came prepared. The wife went and got her friends. She went and got a posse of women with weapons. That's what I'm going to call them. Women with weapons. Give us a rundown, baby.
Right.
Long story short, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Damn. Short and sweet, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, short and sweet and to the point. We'll move right on down to Larry. Larry, give it to us. Oh, Lord, Larry drinking. Lord.
Here we go. Now, let me say this. If you are going to do some dumb shit like this, excuse me, dumb stuff like this.
Hey, man, it's you're free to do what you want to do.
And you have a gun in your house that your wife or your girlfriend may get a hold of, teach her how to use it properly. Because this dude was about this close away from getting his brains blown out. Because in the article that I read, they said that she went there and she was planning on just scaring him. So she took the clip out of the gun. But what she didn't realize is that there was one in the chamber. So if she thought that she was going to scare him and pull the trigger, she would have killed that dude. And she would have been freaked out because she would have thought, oh, damn, I thought I was just scaring him. And she would have killed her own husband. So if you're going to have guns in the house, make sure people know how to use them. And better yet, just don't do it. It's not worth it. And all right, let me ask you guys this.
Oh, Lord.
Why in the hell, if you are married, famous and married, why are you taking naked pictures with some chicks on Snapchat? The app is designed to be shared socially. Why are you doing that?
Dude, vanity is just out of control, bro. It's just the intention. The intention. Caught up with the intention.
T-Stream, I got to give it to you, but I got to give you a caveat with it, though, T-Stream. I got to give you a caveat to it. Like Larry said, there was one still left in the chamber. Thought lives matters, T-Streams. Thought lives matters. I want you to keep that in mind when you give your answer.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I guess to a certain degree, thought lives do matter, man. But I'm gonna tell you this. Dude was dead wrong. I mean, they was up in there gigging. I'm talking about
getting in
up in there. They got the women up in there just chilling
in an Airbnb.
Yeah. See, rule number one, man. If you're in that type of limelight, no phones,
none.
And I don't know if they was drinking and it was just sort of overlooked or something like that. But he said she tracked his whereabouts through his Snapchat. I didn't quite understand how that worked. He must have left his phone at the crib or something, or either left another device.
No, T-Streams, it worked like this because I had to have a young person break it down for me. If you are friends with someone on Snapchat, and you don't have to be using Snapchat for their location device that's on the Snapchat to tell you where that person is at. You have to
so it had like a G. See, I don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
You have to
I don't really mess with Snapchat. I'm a little outside their demographic.
Right. You have to physically go in Snapchat and turn on incognito mode so it doesn't register your location.
Oh, heck no. That's
you know what his brother needs to get him for his next birthday or for Christmas? A flip phone. That's all he needs right there, a flip phone.
Star Tech.
That's it right there. Get him a little Star Tech right there. That's it. Get him an old school Nokia or something.
Now, I don't think anybody's really speaking from experience of being professional cheaters, but I'm just saying.
Wait, man. See, here you go. Look, I just told you 13 years ago when I met the man above, Larry, I was a single guy and I was running to him talking about the issues I was having with these thoughts on these streets. Now, he was advising me that I need to just settle my ass down with a nice woman because I was a nice guy. So back then, I was doing my thing and trying to figure out how not to get caught up in no mess. You know what I'm saying? And, he gave me some great advice. So it's not like we don't know what it's like for that to happen. But when this happens when you're married, good God Almighty.
And that situation could have got ugly so fast, man.
Look, her friends tried to attack the thoughts with butter knives.
Man.
Now, I'm curious. Did they not lock the door of this Airbnb? Did they just have the doors open?
Yeah.
Larry, let me tell you something. When a woman get mad, Larry, she get old man strength. For you fellas that ain't never been married and your wife gets a hint of anything wrong, they become a couple of special forces all in one. They become the FBI, they become the CIA, and they also get the strength of 10 old men all in one. So no locked door was going to keep her ass from getting inside that Airbnb. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. You can forget that. She was getting in that Airbnb. Oh. And I can easily picture her being at the front door and the friends are scurrying around looking through the windows. He over here.
See, he should have made up some excuse like, oh no, this is a sex therapist and I'm just here because my brother's having some issues, so I'm here for moral support. There's nothing going on with me. I'm just in the room for moral support as he's working through his therapeutic issues.
Larry, when you get caught red-handed and your spouse show up with your 9mm Beretta, all the hell you can do is confess.
Can you imagine the look on his face when she walked in? Especially
I don't want to.
With her crew.
With the crew. That's what I'm saying. She came in there with Destiny's Child.
When you do some dumbass shit like that, your excuse has to be equally as dumb.
No, Larry. See, you trying to get folks shot for real. You trying to get my man shot in the pinky toe, talking about a stupid. What's the stupid excuse, Larry? The thoughts made him do it.
There you go. I was walking down the street. I tripped. I skinned my knee. I went over to the house so I can borrow a Band-Aid, and I had a drink of water. The next thing I know, I woke up in bed, and I'm 2 strokes deep. I don't know what happened.
Fellas, do not listen to Larry. He's on some wine, and he must be that good shit tonight, because he about to have y'all messed up. If you ever get caught in a situation like that, there ain't nothing you can do but get on your knees, grab your wife by the hand, ask her to get on her knees too, and y'all start talking to God. But get the thoughts out the house. I don't care if they butt naked.
This is what I want to know. Is why is his ass out and about anyway? Shouldn't he be on lockdown with the rest of us? Yeah. What's he going out there with these Corona hoes?
He might have been in one of them states that sort of laxed up a little bit.
Larry, look, man, and we got to get off this subject. Maybe I get something serious because this is not funny. I feel for poor Earl Thomas, man. This could hinder his process of playing football this year, man. This is some serious stuff. Now, number one, he's going to be in the doghouse for
a long time,
man. His freedom is gone. You know what I'm saying? His freedom is gone. He got her out on bail. Like the minute they put her in jail, he got her and the friends all out on bond, just like that. His freedom is gone. He will not be going to away games without her being on his coattail. You can forget it. And that's part of the process, folks. When you mess up like that, if you want your good woman or your good husband to stay with you, you're gonna have to suffer being in that doghouse.
Dude, his money. If she wants to divorce him, she gets half easily.
Maybe.
But did you see that one of her charges was criminal friend passion or something like that? So they could easily come up with something that says, okay, but you did some kind of a crime, attempted robbery, attempted, whatever, and that might help his case. If anything, that might help her calm down and be like, you know what? I went too far. I messed up. Let's work it out for the kids. Let's work it out for our relationship, and let's try to get back on even footing.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that's that's really gonna burn her ass is gonna be she's gonna be upset that she was there. These chicks were getting it in with her husband, and on top of all that, her husband's probably gonna have to end up paying off those women because when it comes down to it, those women might just be like, yeah, we want to continue to prosecute. And it might just come down to us where they might just be, look, if you don't want us to speak, if you want us to not say anything and not testify, you're gonna have to break us off something.
That's a good point. And They said they had footage, Larry.
So she didn't got her husband. Them chicks got her husband, and now they end up getting her money.
Lord,
telling you, man, that thought life is real.
Dude, he lost so much. He has a beautiful wife. So although we going out there looking for other chicks for him, he has a gorgeous woman.
Hey man, a old player told me, and I'm not saying it deals with me, you, or any of the gentlemen on this camera, okay? So I'm gonna exclude all of us. But an old player once told me,
I think I know what it is.
The longer you with the pussy, the less it entices you. That's what an old player told me now. And I'm not saying that's any of us on this camera, okay? You know, because we find ways to continue to have spice and fire and desire in our marriage.
And I will say this, for every beautiful woman out there, there's a dude that's sick of looking at her. And if you don't believe me, all I have to say are 2 words. Eric Benet.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. My man said Eric. Okay, fella. Look, we getting off Earl Thomas train right now because it is about to get us in trouble. Moving right along, y'all been following the Arbery story. Ahmaud Arbery. We've been following that story. We was all frustrated the other day. Me, Larry, and T-Streams, we like to blew a gasket over the situation that no one had been arrested to this point. Well, an arrest has finally been made, but one of the main questions we want to know is it going to lead to justice? Take a quick look.
News tonight, the father and son accused of shooting an unarmed black man while his family says he was jogging in a Southeast Georgia neighborhood have now been arrested nearly 2.5 months after the attack. 64-year-old Gregory McMichael and 34-year-old Travis McMichael in connection with the February 23rd shooting death of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. The father and son are both charged with murder and aggravated assault.
Arbery was jogging in the Centilla Shores neighborhood when he was fatally shot with a shotgun. The incident caught on camera and posted online a week ago by a Brunswick radio station, prompting the GBI to open an investigation. In the video, you can see a man identified as Arbery running down the street. He's approached by 2 men in a white pickup truck that has stopped in the roadway. Officials say 3 shots were fired, 2 of them after Arbery tried to fight off the man holding the shotgun.
I applaud GBI Director Vic Reynolds and his agents for their swift action.
What?
Justice will be served. Esley Merritt, the attorney for the Arbery family, also posted on Twitter that the investigation into William Bryan, the man who recorded the shooting of Arbery, is still under investigation.
I'm going to tell y'all somebody I don't want to hear nothing from. That damn governor of Atlanta. I don't really want to hear nothing from him. But you know what? Let me take myself out of it. T-Streams, we're going to swing it to you first. Is justice going to be served? Are these guys going to do hard time, or are they going to be able to get away with this hard crime?
You know what, man? I'm about to take it back a few years, man. I really don't care if they do hard time or not. You know what I'm saying? What I want to see is that some of them stingers, some of them real live hitters that's up in the penal system up that way, when these cats come through, you make do with these boys. You know, it's some type of, you know, I hate to always be the one that be coming with the like, negativity and the violence and stuff like that, man, because it you know, in a sense, it could like sort of shade my character, or you know, but dude, I'm so sick of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm really sick of it. Whether or not they go to prison or whether or not they let them free, you know, we so used to the penal system pulling these jackrabbits out the hat, saving these white boys, man, that don't anything surprise me. So just to circumnavigate around all of that, whether they go to the penal system or whether they try them and let them out or whatever they do, somebody has to go see these boys. They has to be dealt with one way or the other. And all this, well, two wrongs don't make it right. You damn right it don't. But hey, something has to give. Something has to give. Hey, there's, they used to run the law, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and they was real quick to pass out the death penalties for murders and stuff. And so they slacked down a lot, on that. Now folks, they go to prison, they get the death penalty, and they stay on death row for many, many, many years. And some of them don't even make it to the executioner chair, because they end up dying from old age sometime, or just from illnesses from being on death row for 20 years. But I think it would be best for the judicial system down there if they tried them and convicted them. Now, here's the thing. Now, this is what you want to watch out for, okay? So harsh sentences normally comes through trials. All right. When you go into trial, you normally saying, hey, I didn't do it. I'm going to try to fight this. So you normally get off easier from plea agreements. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I really feel deep down in my bones. I think they're going to try to swing it. They're going to try to swing it on some type of bullshit, like, second degree manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter, or some, they're gonna find some way to wing it like that. And situations like that, depending on how good your lawyer is, you can walk up with a second or third degree manslaughter and get time served just for the time that you've been in jail, or get a year suspended and walk clean right back out. Okay. So that's what we don't want to happen. All right. Nope. So they're not going to go in there and say, we hunted this guy down, we calculated this, and we're pleading guilty to first degree premeditated aggravated murder. They're not going to say that. Okay. One, because they had previous DA that let the situation ride in the first place. So they're going to feel like they got something to stand on. But the conundrum is, these hoes going to try to swing it to a way where they're going to say some bull crap like, well, you got to get the people got to have something. Something has to be done. But if you do this, plead to this, you can probably do this and probably do that, and we'll give you an ankle monitor, or you can reduce the sentence and get 5 years, do 2, and be out in 18 months. And the good old boy system, and it happens, So trust me, I know, and that would probably piss me off in half this country even more. I mean, when you got these guys, and you got some of the other guys that has killed innocent black people that's still out lingering around. Somebody has to be the scapegoat to start this movement. They can't just keep letting them fly. You just can't keep letting them fly. So my wish is that they have enough time to leave the county jail and go to the big house, and them boys in the big house put them paws in. Real good.
I'm gonna give it to you, Run Nation. What you got to say on this situation?
Well, what I would say about that is, why don't we go back in time and look at all the cases that officer's done over the years? This he just got caught with. He's been doing this kind of bullshit for years. You don't come out of the blue and chase somebody down with a firearm. How many of the investigations he got to when black people have been arrested, killed, hurt, whatever? Everything he's done has to be investigated from this point forward. You have to go back and look at every single case to have true justice done. This here is nothing. They might even walk, because it's going to a grand jury. A grand jury of people of his peers. God knows those small towns. Right? Those small towns, maybe 5,000 people, 10,000 people.
Right.
30 people probably went to high school together. The other half are all related.
Exactly.
How are you going to get a fair grand jury with that?
Yeah. Larry, I'm gonna kick it to you now, Larry. That he makes a good point. I think that a good lawyer should do exactly what Ruin Nation said. Go back, check his professional history to see if there was a pattern going on with him mistreating minorities. What you think gonna happen, Larry?
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think that depending on how much continuous pressure is put on the governor and on that DA, particularly the governor, they're probably going to say, look, these dudes have to go down, but don't worry, we'll take care of them. So they're going to jail. They'll probably get out on bail if they're not already bailed out. And then they'll go to court. They'll get convicted. Black people will jump around and say, woohoo, we got another one. We got one. We got justice. And then they'll turn around. They'll file for an appeal. They'll ask that be released while on appeal. They'll get released on bail, and then they're going to win on appeal. And it's by that time, it's going to be a no issue. It's just going to be we've already discussed this thing. It's going to be page 9 of the newspaper, or it's going to be buried deep in Sean King's Twitter thread or something. It's not going to be anything that people really care about at that point. And they'll probably do a couple weeks or maybe a couple of months in jail between the time they actually get convicted and by the time they actually, get released for their appeal. And they'll win their appeal, and they'll end up going home, and they'll go back to their life as usual. And in the meantime, you'll have a whole bunch of racists and conservatives that'll start a GoFundMe page that'll raise a couple $100,000, and these dudes will be well-to-do for the rest of their time. And I don't generally wish bad things on people, but do you guys remember the Boondocks? Do you remember the animated series, The Boondocks? Mm-hmm. Do you remember what's his name? The black dude that was married to the white chick, something Dubois. He was always worried about getting anally raped.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the dude that guy was always worried about. I'm hoping they're in jail with these dudes. Yeah, I'm hoping they get their justice served. If things are going to play out the way they generally play out, I hope these dudes get served up properly. Because like I've said for a while, we need a damn drop squad in this country to give us the justice that this country will not deliver for us. And I know that sounds terrible. And I'm not saying that we should just have some extrajudicious people that go out there and start acting vigilante style and serving up justice before we've given our actual legitimate justice system an opportunity to work through and provide us real justice. But since they're not going to provide us justice, I truly believe that is what we need. And I think that because here's the problem, we don't have an alternative to all of the peaceful protests, all the civil rights people out there saying we need this, we need that, and they're out there protesting and getting on the media. We don't have an alternative to that. The only reason why Martin Luther King and the nonviolent protests, was the nonviolent civil rights movement was effective is because we had the motherfucking Black Panthers and Malcolm X on the other side saying, this is what the fuck you have to look forward to if you don't respect this man over here. Mm-hmm. That was it. That's the only reason why that shit worked. And we need an alternative to the peaceful people, to all the other people over here that are protesting and showing up and being nice, all the BLM people showing up and blocking traffic, all the Sean Kings on Twitter that are spending ends of days and all this stuff, writing articles and editorials. We need an alternative to all of those good people. Mm-hmm. We need another group over here that says, please just go ahead and tell us when you're done so we can go ahead and step in.
Damn. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll move the subject. I want to commend the Anglo-Saxons, and not only Anglo-Saxons, but the Anglo-Saxons that happen to be Republican members that was on my Facebook that saw us do this podcast and this YouTube live just the other day, that reached out to me to say they felt my pain. They are sorry. Don't let that jade our view of all whites. And I had to tell them that we're not jaded by all whites. We know a lot of whites have helped us make progress where it may be at right now. But you're being stereotyped by this kind of crazy behavior we continuously keep seeing with young men out here getting killed by the police, out here getting accosted by vigilantes such as George Zimmerman and these two buffoons who are just trying to take the law in their own damn hands for no reason without a people's court. And that's what Larry is calling for. He's calling for a people's court after the regular judicial court has served up nothing. We need some justification, is what he's saying. We don't want it to go there. We're not asking for that. We're asking for the current judicial system to do its damn job and do it the way that it's supposed to be done. And that's fair and equal for everybody.
Equal justice for all.
Yep. Fellas, I'm going to move us to something that's more light and fluffy, because I know we enjoy light and fluffy things. Movie and TV show suggestions for the weekend. This is when I get everybody's viewpoint on what's the best thing to watch over the weekend. So I know y'all already know what clip I'm going to show y'all for my weekend. So my recommendation to everybody is The Last Dance. Episode 7 and 8 comes on Sunday on ESPN. It hasn't let me down. The things that they're saying about Michael Jordan, maybe a lot of you all didn't know he was like this, but for the most part, anyone who is a savant at the top of their career, the top of their league, top of their profession, they probably have a whole lot of what you see behind the scenes of Michael Jordan in them as well. They're egotistical. Yeah. They want it done their way. They ask a lot of you. They expect everybody to be as great as they are. And sometimes they don't understand how to communicate with you because they want the same level of success from you that they are exuding. So if you want to see some good, compelling TV, that would be my choice for you guys this weekend. Larry, I'm going to kick it to you first. Give us one recommendation to watch over the weekend.
I will. I just want to co-sign what you said. I think that for a lot of people that are at the top of their game, they expect, because they work so hard, they expect the people that are going to be in their direct proximity, whether they're teammates or coworkers, that they're going to put in that same kind of work. And I remember being out in LA and hearing all the rumors of Kobe and Shaq having really big knockdown, drag out fights, because Shaq would come in from the off season like 400 plus pounds and completely out of shape. And Kobe was pissed because they had to spend the first 6 or 8 weeks getting his ass in shape, where Kobe would stay in shape all year long and come in ready to go. And Shaq would get out there partying, eating everything under the sun, and come in looking like, like he was, need to go to a weight watching camp or something. So, but so my recommendation, what I haven't seen it yet, but this is what I plan on watching this week. And I plan on watching a documentary called Uppity. Mm-hmm. I believe it's on Netflix. It is about, it's the Willie T. Ribbs story. It is about an Indy driver who's black, who basically breaks the color lines in racing in the Indianapolis 500 and on the whole Indy circuit. So it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I needed something positively black after all of this bullshittery that's been going on. So I'm going to watch that as far as a movie is concerned. For TV shows, I'm not sure. I watch a little bit of everything. So like right now I like watching like Tacoma FD. It's a real lighthearted slapstick sort of comedy. It's sort of like, I think it's from the same people who made Reno 911 and or Super Troopers. I think it was one of those two. Anyways, it's funny. But there's another show that's on Hulu called Dave with that rapper Lil Dicky that's supposed to be funny. I'm probably gonna watch that this weekend too.
T Streams, give us a recommendation.
All right. So you want some positivity. Okay. That would give you some positivity. All right. So one of the things that I'm checking out, I'm gonna check out. I'll probably watch it tomorrow, man. Netflix has a documentary called Becoming. It's Michelle Obama, and it's her story of her interactions, some of her her high moments and stuff like that. So I found that pretty interesting to watch. I had to go back and finish watching the Beastie Boys. I started watching it pretty late and end up crashing after a long day. So I went back and rewatched it. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I didn't know, as hard as they was, I didn't know that Russell Simmons stuck it to him in the ass. Oh, and they as big as that first album of theirs was, License to Kill. that Russell robbed them boys of all. They gets nothing, not even to this day. From one of one of the old hip hop classics, for three white dudes out of New York, though they have a classics. I think they surpassed third base in old school hip hop. And so for TV shows, I've actually been, I sort of been working on some retro stuff. And so there was a TV show that I never, for some reason, I never knew existed. So I decided to go back and watch it. It's called the Royal Family. It's post Sanford and Son. It's with Red Fox. You got Della Reese. You got young Lorenz Tate, Jackie Harris, and all of them. And it's sort of like when you look at it, the few episodes that I watched, the first thing I thought of was Bernie Mac reinvented. It puts you in the mind that this what the Bernie Mac show would have been in the 80s had it been aired in the 80s and not the 90s when it was aired. So it's pretty funny. You get to see Red Fox in a different element for those that wasn't aware. It didn't last very long, 3 seasons as he passed away shortly after that. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was actually on one of those sets that he actually had his heart attack. So
yeah, he's doing that show. Yeah.
So it's a pretty good classic, but that's me right there.
Okay.
Nice. That's a good call. I'm gonna check that one out.
Me too. Matu, what you got? Or is there anything you recommend to the people to watch over the weekend?
I got a couple of things. When I'm going to look at personally as a movie, I'm a big time Prince fan. I got to go back and look at Purple Rain.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Purple Rain. He was the best musician I've ever seen, and I think he's the best musician I ever will see. There was nothing like him.
I'll tell you, my favorite. I loved Purple Rain, but because I'm sort of an oddball, anyways, man, I loved Under a Cherry Moon. That was my jam.
Hey man, it ain't nothing wrong with that.
People dogged that movie to death, but I love that movie.
That's a great movie. Can't find it anywhere.
Man, ain't nothing wrong with that. Any TV shows, Matu?
TV shows. I'll tell people who have Netflix to look at a TV series called Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Episode 2, past tense. It's very reflective of what this country is becoming. He goes back in time into 2024, I believe it is.
Right.
And he goes and experiences mass poverty, concentration camps, all in the United States of America.
Wow. And for just special recognition, my subscriber mentioned the show that I mentioned in the past called The Good Fight. It is a spinoff of The Good Wife. They have a pretty good, diverse cast. I enjoyed the first 3 seasons, but this particular season is picking back up a little bit. But last season kind of went down for me, but it's still a good watch. And so beyond that, we do have Marvel news. Fellas, I got another graphic for you. This is a Marvel news.
Here we go.
Marvel leak, ladies and gentlemen, about Disney Plus, the series. Is a leak that we're going to be getting the invasion story of Marvel on Disney Plus involving Sword, and all the events on this series are leading up to Captain Marvel 2. That's the big leak that came out of the investors meeting that they just had the other day at Disney. But also in that investors meeting, it was thrown around about Ironheart, the series. What is Ironheart, the series, you may be asking? In essence, it was a college female who was very, very smart. She went to MIT, and she was building Tony Stark style Iron Man suits. As you can see right here, the graphic on the screen. The Ironheart exclusive is also set to be on Disney Plus coming in 2020. Fellas,
nice.
And I'll give this one to you first, Matu, because on this panel, you know comics better than all of us combined. This is a comic head right here. what do you think about the Secret Invasion on Disney Plus? And do you know anything about the Iron Heart?
Yeah, I was very curious about Ironheart. I looked into her a little bit. Young lady, I think she was a teenager. I think she was in her teens when she actually started building Iron Man armor. So it was a completely different aspect of the character. There's been several people that's been Iron Man. Jim Rose has been Iron Man. Happy Hogan's been Iron Man. There's been several cats who've been Iron Man over the years. And she's the only female to actually adopt the character. Yes, she's the only female to actually adopt the character.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just a different take. I think it's very important for just black people in general to see ourselves rejected a positive, especially for young women as well. You don't have to go out there and shake your ass and show your titties to get attention. You can get attention, get power, in your brain.
So Matu, do you think they are going to stick to the roots and make her black?
They have to. I was actually thinking in the beginning when I first saw Black Panther, it was going to be Shuri who was going to engineer some kind of armor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they're going to go that route. But I initially thought it was going to be Shuri.
Okay.
It should be.
No, Shuri can do her. Shuri gets to be Black Panther. This is a whole different character. This needs to be a different black person playing this role, and just keep it traditional with the comics. T Streams, how do you feel about either one of these series coming to Disney Plus?
Man, I think we was just talking about this the other day, that they can't push everything to the movies. They have to drop some teasers. They gotta get everybody's appetite wet for something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this would be a good move. On that, I did have a question though. On that first clip, are they going to be using some of the actors that's actually in the film in this series?
Yes. So in the Ironheart series, they're talking about bringing back Robert Downey Jr. That's like the buzz leak around here that Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. is going to wind up being in Ironheart the series.
He might be an AI. He might be an AI, kind of like Jarvis.
Right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's a good move. They had to do that. You know, you just can't have everybody out in limbo and for a year and another year and a half waiting on something to drop, and then you tend to, though I don't think people would lose interest in it, it'll probably be all that more exciting after that long. But then again, it could, but it has its diehard fans. But that was a good thing. They were supposed to do that.
Larry, last word on this one for you.
I'm not so sure about this one, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about them, but sort of in that same vein of the Marvel thing, something's a little oddball off to the cuff a little bit. Last night, I was watching a movie called What's Your Number with Anna Faris. And there were three in the same movie. There were three of the Avengers. Well, two of the Avengers and one of the sort of side dudes, because Chris Evans was in that movie. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Mackie was in that movie. and what's his name? The dude from the Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt, was in that movie.
Uh-huh.
And that was a trip. I was like, holy crap. I was like the whole MCU's in this joint.
Cash and checks, homie. Cash and checks.
Cash and checks left and right. Well, I'm definitely interested in the Secret Invasions. That could be something real big, because it does have a good story arc with Captain Marvel. I guess we'll have to see. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the stuff that this channel is really doing to help you make those gains in life. We're talking about money and finances. How can you improve your financial wealth? How can you improve the quality of your life through allowing what you save, earn, and make to make money for you without you having to physically go get it? And today's lesson deals with credit. So take a quick look at, for those of you that don't know, what makes up your credit, the determining factors of how to build your credit. We got a clip for you, and it's right here.
There are 5 main factors that impact your credit score: your payment history, the amount of debt you owe, your credit history, your credit mix, and then how much new credit you have and how quickly you got it. So based on those main factors that impact your credit score, here are a few common things that can damage it and cause it to drop. So these are things you want to be aware of and avoid at all costs. Late and missed payments. Missing just a few bills or paying them late can have a huge impact on your credit score and really damage it. So if you could pay your bills in full, always do that every month. If you can't pay them in full, always at least try to pay the minimum or as much over the minimum as you can on time before the due date. Next, maxing out your credit cards. When you reach the limit, that could knock a lot of points off your credit score. So again, try to keep every balance on every credit card as low as you can. If you can't pay them off in full, just really try to get those balances down. Also, applying for a new credit card or new credit in general will cause your credit score to temporarily drop. So with a credit card, when you apply, your credit score could drop around 10 to 12 points. It'll go back up over time if you use it responsibly, but just know that it'll drop temporarily. So that's why timing is huge. And you have to know how certain mistakes or decisions are going to affect you, especially if you plan to get a new loan or buy something big anytime soon. All right, when you're trying to improve your credit score, let's talk about the best ways to do it. When you check your credit reports, check them closely, because if you see any mistakes, you need to take the steps to take care of them as quickly as you can. If you see any old unpaid bills that are yours, pay them off as quickly as you can. Don't ignore them. Some companies will work with you, so talk to them about your situation. Next, pay off small debts. If you have any small debts that you owe that are just hanging out there, get those paid off as soon as you can. The less you owe, the better. Pay attention to your balances. 30% of your score is based on how much credit you're using. So you have to pay attention to all of your account balances. Even if you have a high credit card limit, don't use it. It hurts your score. And the higher the balance gets, the harder it is to control, no matter how much self-control you think you have.
All right, fellas. So she said some general basics in your credit. One thing that she didn't say that I felt like she should have said is when you're talking about trying to manage your revolving credit is anything like a credit card, a line of credit, things that you can just charge up and pay off and you still have that credit, not like a car, not like a home. Typically, you don't want to, when you combine the amount that you have of all your revolving credit, so let's just say you have $100,000 in revolving credit. You don't want to go over $30,000 of that revolving credit, because once you go over that threshold, it really pinches your score 75 to 100 points because they start feeling though you're not managing your credit correctly. And with those inquiries she was talking about, when you apply for something new, as long as you don't do it too many times in a 6-month window, I'm talking once or twice, and you're not doing it continuously, that 10 points you'll get back. And when you decide to challenge things on your credit, you can just dispute some of these things, send it to the credit bureau, and if they don't get back to you within 30 days, it typically falls off your credit until they decide to go after it and repost and send you a letter. So I've done that around Christmas time when they're busy. Right now would be a great time to dispute things on your credit because guess what? No one's at the office. And I mean, I'm just keeping that thing real. Trying to help y'all out a little something around here. And the other thing you do want to make sure that you are doing as best as you possibly can is make sure you do have a decent credit mix. So you would want to have a Visa credit card, a MasterCard, so that you have a decent amount of credit mixture, and then you can run from there. We all hate the way the system is devised, that if you don't have a lot of money, it helps to have good credit, vice versa. But you can take progressive steps to make all that better. When I met the man who's above Larry, my credit score was 600, and that was 13 years ago. Since then, I've been able to get that credit score above 800 by putting in some of these principles. I'm going to kick it to you, Larry.
Well, I'm an 803, and basically, for a while there, I was like, I want to get a perfect credit score, but then, from what I've read, it doesn't really matter if you have a perfect credit score, or they say anything over 760 is pretty much you're going to qualify for anything that you want.
750, you get anything you want.
And so for me, the most important thing for me is I just try and maintain zero balances on all my cards. So I treat my cards like they're charge cards, even though, I have a number of Visas and MasterCards, American Express, and I have a tendency to use my American Express card the most now because I know my balance is due in full at the end of the month. And so I don't overspend. I just sort of, it's not something where I think, ooh, I really want this camera, but I probably can't afford it until, a month or two from now. I'll just go ahead and put it on my card and I'll pay it later. Instead of doing that, I just wait the month or two. I buy it and then immediately pay it off on my American Express card. And I often buy this stuff on my American Express card so I get the purchase protection and my points and all that stuff. But it is important. You need to start building credit. So even if you get a little janky credit card that has a high interest rate, which isn't the best thing, even if you have that for a year or so and just use it every now and then, pay it off and build your credit, it will help so that when you decide to apply for a different credit card that has a better interest rate, higher limit, that you'll be eligible for it. Yeah. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I've done to help sort of keep my credit and, to maintain my payments is sometimes I wouldn't even allow that payment to hit my bill in some sense. Like I would go to the gas station, for instance, and if I knew I needed to put $25 in my car, I would put $25 of gas in my car using my credit card. And then once I get in the car, I would sit on my phone and open up the app and literally go pay $25 on my credit card. Even if it hadn't hit my account yet, I would just pay the $25 and it was just there. So as soon as that $25 from the gas station hit, it was already paid off. And basically I was just using it as a cash card. But even though you're using it as a cash card, it still builds up your credit because every month it gets reported back that you have a credit card in good standing. And when you don't have any outstanding bills or outstanding balances and late payments, that credit card company will often either offer you an increased credit limit, or they'll offer you, a lower interest rate, or they'll start offering you more premium cards, ones that have better benefits overall. So,
good job, Larry. I'm gonna kick it to my two, but ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be quite as anal as Larry. That was his system. He's old school as hell. You go to his house, I can guarantee you can find money in his freezer, cold cash in his freezer, because he old school as hell.
Man, I hide money. My wife teases me about this because I have money everywhere. I put money in the back of my cell phone case. I have money taped to the back of my IDs. I have money taped in my passport. I keep money in boxes, and I mean, even on my car keys, I have a little thing that old people use, like like those old men that had heart attacks and they would keep those nitro pills on their keychains. Mm-hmm. I have one of those little cases for the nitro pills. If I take $100 bill, I roll it up, I keep it in there.
Yeah. So y'all see, I'm not lying when I say my man old school as hell. And
I'm just saying, you never know when you're gonna run out of lap dance money. You just never know.
God. Man, I'm about to mute this dude, man. My two, kicking it to you. Give us the strategies you have used to help build and keep your credit in good standing.
Basically, I pay myself first.
Okay.
As soon as I get a check, it goes basically to all the bills that have to be paid.
Right.
Right. I don't try not to let anything linger.
Mm-hmm.
I speak to people like yourself, like the brother Larry, that give you ideas about how to build credit as well.
Okay.
Some people just don't know. They've never been taught it.
Right.
You're an adult, because there was a few years ago, a guy that he just got signed to the NFL. He went to Wegmans and cashed a $15,000 check.
What?
He went to Wegmans. Wegmans is it's like Whole Foods.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
He went there to cash his check.
He went there to cash a check. He didn't know. So you got people who are financially savvy.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, that certainly helps. And until T Streams comes back and we can get his perspective, another way you can build your credit if you don't have a credit card, they now have something called the pedal card, which allows you to just use that card to pay your bills on time, and they report that to the credit bureau. And after you successfully do that for about 6 months, they give you an expanded limit on their card of about $500 to $1,000 that actually reports to the credit bureau for those of you that don't have stellar credit and you're trying to build it. T-Streams, what have you done?
While you were away, we were telling them how you used to make money, how you were, there were these older women that you used to visit every other week, and they used to give you gifts. And
see,
I'm like, how you know?
Oh God, here he go. And look, make sure you tell your wife I ain't say none of that. I didn't say none of that.
That's why I said used to.
Because the next time we come to Detroit, I don't want T-Stream wife looking at me with the side eye, thinking that I go hang with Larry every weekend when he talking about these lap dances and stuff.
Well, we cool, man. When I was like 19, 20, and 21, I used to do the male dance review here.
Okay. Okay. Damn, shake it fast. Watch
those days are long, and those days are long over with. You can probably still find me on some old VHS tape somewhere around here.
Lord have mercy. Well, I know you was dealing with some old ass women then. They got VHS cassette recorders.
And I had my house burned down once before. But anyhow, that's for another subject. We're talking about credit scores. Now,
yes.
I'm going to speak to those who don't actually have exemplary credit. Now, my credit isn't the best. Now, it wasn't because I just jacked off credit cards and stuff like that and got a whole bunch of existing loans. It's because that I'm probably that friend or that person that that's like, man, I don't fool with credit cards. No, I don't fool with credit cards. And I've done that my whole life. I shared this information with them the other day, and they was like, huh? And so I only recently started dealing with credit cards once my status actually changed. I was one of those people that really, I'm like, man,
T-Streams was the old people that used to be in the grocery store writing a check.
And I was scared of them because back in my day, everybody was making them boys hot, and so I didn't it. My motto was always, if I can't use cash right now for it, I don't need it. And I had disciplined myself, to that structure. So I've lived my life, with not having to deal with, mortgages and stuff like that. And so, so it wasn't until recently when, I'm like, well, let's try to do something here. And I actually try to apply for some. My wife haggled me for, I would say, at least a year to just get a small card, just get it this, just get that, just so you can have it, and just, and stuff like that. But I was like, and so I end up doing my credit, and when I looked at it, I probably had the shortest credit report I ever seen in my life. And the only thing that I had on there was my student loans. And, I didn't have anything else. It was just like zero. And then when I applied, I ended up applying for like two or three starter credit cards, and I got declined for all of them. And the reason being was they told me, they send you the little email that says that I don't have any credit history. And it's not that it was delinquent. So I ended up talking to a coach on how to, how in the hell am I supposed to start if I can't start? And so I was really in a conundrum because, my businesses and assets and stuff says that, hey, I got the income that can handle the minimum payments on these cards, and so, it don't work that way though. They want to see that you are paying something. And the strange thing about it, I was always told that utilities go on there, and man, I pay the utilities. I pay the water bill on every last one of our properties, plus my home and stuff. And I didn't even, I was hoping to get some credit for that. I didn't even see that on there.
It don't go up there unless you are late or delinquent or they shut it off. So you get the negative effect of it, but you don't get the benefit of it.
Okay, that's cool. T-Streams don't get his bills cut off. So what I end up doing, and so for those of you, that are like me, that just that don't have those 700-800s. Right now I am climbing up. I'm like in in the upper sixes. And so those of you that are like me, what I did was I eventually got involved with this app called the Self app, and I was sharing it with you guys. And what this is an app that allows you to pay into it what you want to pay into it for a year, and it reports those payments to the credit bureau. And then at the end of the year, it gives you that money back minus the interest. So they keep the interest that was paid on it. So I set mine up for auto draft for like $150 every month. And so my tenure is getting ready to go up. So what they're going to do is give me that $150 for the last 12 months back in lump sum, just deposit it back into my bank, and then I'll just do it again. And then they report like twice or three times a year or something like that, that you're paying into it. And so far my last check, I do have my thing is better than agreed, because every time I pay, I always send something extra, thinking that is going to help sort of rush it, but it's a time-consuming process. So with that being said, after doing that for a while, I was actually able to get me a little bitty plastic piece. And so normally what I do is I'll use it, and then I'll come straight home and pay it, so like,
Lamont, you were talking about me doing that.
Yeah. So if if I'm like in Walmart or something, like I was in Sam's Club, you can never go in Sam's Club and spend less than $100 or $200. I'm a firm believer. If somebody can, you gotta let me know how. But I went into Sam's Club, and and spent, got my stuff there, came home, just went ahead and paid it, so I don't even have to worry about it later on. So I use it, when I know that I'm getting ready to use cash, because I can easily come home and pay it, and don't have to worry about it. So so while my trek is a little bit different, and it requires a little bit more, it's all rooted because I didn't want any cars. I didn't believe in them to the point where, because everybody I was seeing back in the late 80s, the 90s, mid 90s, everybody getting bunched up with all these credit cards, and all I saw was everybody just paying bills all the time, or getting lost on their bills because of the credit cards, and getting wrapped up into them. Some folks got 10, 15 credit cards. That's too damn much. To me, I'm struggling just to have one. And so, but my mindset is changing now. Okay. And then it's definitely needed. is definitely needed, and it could be beneficial, if you work, if you work it right,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well said.
Lamar, you mind if I can give 2 quick recommendations for people that are like T-Streams who pay cash for everything. So if you're someone like T-Streams who has been disciplined and you pay cash for everything, let's say that you want to buy a new car, right? And you saved up and you have 15 grand, you're about to go buy a new car. Well, if you want to build your credit, you don't need to go and buy that new car cash. What you can do is go to the car dealership, work out the deal for your car, and then find out what is the amount you need to put down for them to approve you for an auto loan. Because I can tell you right now, it doesn't really matter how bad your credit is. If you can put down 50% of a car, they will give you any car on this planet if you can put half down. So one thing you can do is just go get that car loan and even if you have to put half down. So let's say you want to buy a car, it's 15 grand. You put 7,500 down. Take that other 7,500, simply put it in a checking account and just put auto pay on. So every month, it automatically pays that car note. You don't even have to think about it. The money's already there, and it's auto paying that car note, and then it just pays it off, and you're done. And you can actually overpay it. Since the money's already there, you can make sure that you pay 2 or 3 times. So let's say you have it financed for 36 months, and your car payment is supposed to be $100. Just make every payment $300. Instead of it paying off in 3 years, it pays it off in 1 year. It's going to show that you have a good payment history. It's going to show that you paid the car off, and it will help boost your score, and it'll help you when you need to go get a credit card or anything else. It'll show that you have a good, solid payment history. And, and as far as like your credit cards, they do have prepaid cards. So if, for instance, T-Streams, if you had to do this again, you could go say, take $1,000, get a not a prepaid, but a secured credit card where you actually send them $1,000. They will hold that $1,000 in a CD for you, and your credit limit for that credit card will then be $1,000. And the good thing about that is that CD actually earns interest for you. So after, say, a year of paying on that card on time and having a good credit history, you can go get another credit card, and you can then just say, I want to close this account, and they will refund you back that $1,000 plus interest. Or what you can do is say, look, I've had a good payment history. I would like to make my card unsecured. And they will usually say, okay, yes, you have had a good payment history. We'll unsecure it. They'll send you that $1,000 plus your interest back to you. So just 2 quick tips for people out there that may be in that position like T-Streams that actually have cash on hand but don't have credit and they want to build their credit.
Well, I'm going to definitely agree with the credit card scenario he gave, which you can go to any credit union for the most part and do the exact same thing he said. They usually have these specific accounts in which you're someone who doesn't have credit and you need to get credit. You put a certain amount of money into one of their memberships at the credit union. They'll give you a credit card for that amount. And then as long as you make your payments on time, you're good. And let's say for whatever the reason, something just falls through the floor, you can't make your payment, they withdraw it from what you've set into that account.
Right.
And so you could do that. Now with his car scenario, because I'm such a budget hawk, if you got $15,000, just take 12 and buy a car and take the other $3,000 and put it and do what we just mentioned you do with a credit card. That way you've got a revolving amount of credit and you already got a car paid for. That's
man, but what if you're trying to get that Tesla, man?
You can't do that, Lamar. But here's the other thing is that when you're building credit, they often want to see a little bit of diversity in the types of loans that you have. So sometimes they want to see you where you have your credit cards, but they also want to be able to see you make payments on on an installment loan. So
that's true. But at the end of the day, when you're applying for, let's just say you're trying to build your credit because you're trying to get a home.
Mm-hmm.
It looks better to say that you have a car that is a paid for asset than to say you're paying on it. And then you have a revolving credit card that's working for you.
That is true. But here's the thing also with that. If you already have the money set aside, let's say that you buy this car in January and in June you're trying to buy a house and they say, hey, you have this car that's out there that's outstanding and you still owe $5,000 on it. You can simply take that $5,000 and just pay your car off.
You could. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not the way I would do it. There's nothing wrong with what he said doing. That's just definitely not the way I would do it. I would rather just have the asset paid for and have a revolving line of credit that's pretty big. But either way work. It's really one of those things where you kind of got to know yourself and figure out which one of these methods works best, almost like a diet plan.
Right.
That's
and both of these plans are really designed to sort of take some of the onus off of yourself right up front. So instead of having to remember to pay the credit card or having to have the discipline of saying, oh, I'm going to pay this next week and after I get done partying in the club, it's already taken care of because the money is already set aside. So
right. So you're gonna have to kill some of that Air Jordan budget and work on your Air credit so that you can do things when you're 40.
Yes, exactly.
Now I'm gonna get us to politics. The last segment. If you hung in here to the very end, you are a major subscriber. Be sure to share this video, like it. Check out Taylor Todd on Facebook. Check out Larry's YouTube channel. Definitely check me out. And when my man Run Nation gets something together, we're gonna send you to him too. Our politics brings us to Michigan. Michigan has just been a cesspool of politics. And we're going to talk about the governor, Gretchen Whitmer, who I do like, as well as a young black politician who has got her a Black Panther escort. Take a look at this one first.
This evening with Governor Whitmer's big announcement a short time ago, Michigan's stay-at-home order has been extended to May 28th.
We've really pushed the curve down dramatically. We've saved our health system, and we've ramped up our PPE and testing and tracing, which has enabled us to safely begin to phase in sectors of our economy.
And so right now, she's using stages of the virus for her decision-making. It's a 6-step process. The first 2, uncontrolled growth, persistent spread, we've passed, thankfully. She says that we are currently in the flattening phase. Ahead, and she says it could go either way when we get there, are improving, moving to containing, and then past pandemic, which comes when there's a vaccine. So for the 75% of Michigan's economy still shuttered, the governor said,
that's why it's really important that we continue to be smart, to do this in incremental stages, to listen to the data, to ramp up our testing, and continue moving forward. We've done incredible work for 8 weeks.
Rod, a lot of moms and dads are wondering whether summer camp is in the cards for their children. The governor talked a little bit about that
Summer
today.
Camp?
What?
yeah, she did, and she did not think much of the idea.
Thank you.
Perhaps maybe later in the summer. She also pointed out that campgrounds are not going to be opening. The state campgrounds won't be opening until probably sometime in the latter part of June.
So that is my homegirl who's becoming one of my favorite politicians, Gretchen Whitmer. The only knock I got on her is she sounds a little bit like a Canadian Sarah Palin, but she does not behave like Sarah Palin. She's very smart in her doings.
Can I just say something about these clips that you picked, man?
Yeah, man.
I love the sign language translators. If you watch them, man, they're so animated.
Yeah, man.
She looks scary.
Yeah. That chick looks scary, and that's why ain't nobody coming there with no guns at her, because that sign language chick gonna keep your ass away. Ain't nobody fooling around with her. That chick like she was doing pure gang sign. Like, you come in here with them guns. Boy, one of them, I was for sure. I was like, did she just give somebody the middle finger? But anyway, Gretchen Whitmer also said that she is in support of making a law that bans guns from coming in the Capitol, which should have been done happen. And when she said that, she made rednecks across the whole state of Michigan upset. And to counter that point, we had our black people that said they've had enough of seeing that, and they stood up for this young lady right here.
There we go.
You know it. They stood up for this young lady right here. You see her? That is Representative Sarah Anthony, and she brought her own protection to go into the state capitol, and ain't nobody mess with Sarah Anthony. And just to get rid of Larry, that buffoon, let's put this one in there. Yeah. And they stood out there, and they waited for her to get done with her session and come out.
That would have been a gangster ass picture if dude wasn't on his cell phone.
Yeah, well, what is he doing? Bro, come on, man.
Like
He
you,
telling
it
folks
was
on the
like
side
they
to
were
make
all
sure that
closed
they in
up,
line,
just
man.
straight
Dude.
flexing, and then dudes on his gram.
He up there calling his mama, hey mama. Hey sister. Get off your phone, man. T-Streams, I'm giving it to you first. It is your state. How do you feel about what your governor is doing? She sounds like she's making sound decisions to me. I like her more and more each day. And what do you think about that young representative being escorted by the nation?
I'm telling you, man, it really didn't even have to be the nation. I was saying this, man, look. all it takes is some folks with balls. Okay. And they don't have to be physical. I'm just saying, if you got the kahunas to stand up and not waver and you know and not fall victim to this joke that's out here, yeah, roll up. I don't know. You may even see me up there one day.
Oh God, here we go. Man, look, man, get this guy off the thing. Matu, I'm gonna give it to you. He biased. He live in Michigan. He's a Detroit guy. He just be bringing it hardcore. Matu, what do you think about the situation with their governor and what's going on in Michigan?
Oh, first of the governor, she showed you the difference between someone who plays checkers and somebody who plays chess.
Okay.
Yep. She's straight for the long game. She's there for this short-term, quick fix kind of nonsense. Put the Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. It doesn't work. It requires surgery. It requires rehabilitation. It's a whole bunch of things involved. Mm-hmm. You can't rush back into it and you get hurt all over again. And you're back at ground zero all over again. She's trying to avoid that.
Right.
As far as the young lady, the state representative with the homeboys got her back. Mm-hmm. I just Kaepernick was right. Mm-hmm. He's proving more and more every day. Because all of us here, you know, we all look like victims. You know, we're just automatically, none of us are probably that big. But to a white person who's full of fear, full of hatred in their heart, we're 10 feet tall, fangs, and covered in hair. Mm-hmm. You know, but we're just human beings. We bleed like everybody else. Our lives are important. We all have families. Brothers having a baby on the way. You know, I have 3 children. Mm-hmm. You know, my life is as important as anybody else. I have 3 male sons.
Right.
So think about that. You know, think about any day of the week. My oldest son, 6'4", go outside. People think he's 9 feet tall. You know,
he is. He's 9 feet tall in the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
Yeah. I know he's flipping cars and uprooting trees and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy the damn tree. Oh my God, honey, he was a huge Negro.
But
oh my God, honey, he's powerful. My God, I fell for my life.
Man, you need to stop. I don't know no white people that sound like. See, you about to start some mess right there. God, so, Larry, before he get me in trouble, because y'all boys stay trying to get me in trouble. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you, Larry, because y'all do stay trying to get me and T-Streams in trouble.
Man, I have to say, I love this story. You know what this remind me of? This reminds me of like when you would get in trouble as a kid and you would do some dumb shit. You try and pop off with your mom and your mom's like, you're on restriction until May 1st. You can't keep me on restriction. I'm going to go out. Keep talking. It's going to be 2 more weeks. No, you can't do it. Cool. May 15th. What? No, you can't do that. Screw you. I'm going to tell Dad. Go ahead and tell your dad. See what's going to happen. You can't do this to me. Keep talking. It's going to be 2 more weeks. You can't do this. Cool. May 28th. What else you got to say? And then you hear him just stop talking like, that's it. That's what Meg Whitmer did right there. She basically said, you little toy soldier bitch boys, keep talking. 2 more weeks. Come back.
She grabbed him and she put that Shawn Michaels on him.
They come back up to that Capitol again. Who knows? You guys might not be open for the rest of the year. You keep coming back.
That's right. That's right. She gonna be the vice president of the United States before y'all get y'all chance to open that state back up. You keep running that mouth.
She might be like, I'm gonna be the vice president, and I'm not even gonna resign as governor. There's no law that says I can't do both. I'm gonna do both.
I'm gonna do both. That's right. She gonna hold it down and do both.
Why didn't you give her a call?
Yeah, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we got today. It's been an action-packed show. I love doing my give back on Fridays to my homies and my subscribers. If you want to be a part of this crew on a Friday, all you got to do is DM me. Now I got to let everybody get a chance to give a last word to send you all out for something good on the weekend. Special guest, Matu, you get the first of the last word. What important, profound thing do you want to say to my audience to get them going for the weekend?
Hey, I'll speak health and wealth into your life. And strive.
No doubt. Okay.
Well, like
it. Wow. Like it. Larry, your turn.
Well, this one is for all of you out there running around doing that dirty. The doctors tested the men in China who were recovering or currently had the coronavirus and found it in their semen. And so they're now wondering if the coronavirus can be transmitted sexually. So I'm just saying, sexually transmitted coronavirus could be a thing.
I'm
Just be careful.
Man.
Just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Man.
T-Streams, take the microphone away from that dude, man. Got to be okay. Are we up here with Steve Harvey, Larry? This boy here talking about you going to get coronavirus through semen. What in the man? This is a respiratory. No, man. No. Let T-Stream take the mic, please.
Oh, you know it's an issue if that wood start coughing.
Oh my God! Now here you go. Here you go.
All right. Hey.
I don't even know why I fool around with you, you Negroes, man. Golly.
Hey.
You knew what you were getting into when you sent us that link.
I saw that. I think that was yesterday when I saw that article, and it came. I can't remember if it was CNN or MSN. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, because when I first saw it, the first thing I said, check the source, and then I had to sort of say, let's pray that that's not going to be another curveball thrown in this. Some call it the pandemic. This is truly a otherworldly pestilence that has that has come in and invaded our world for a brief moment of time. But
we haven't even touched on the murder hornets.
Yeah,
man. And they over there tearing people up on the west coast of the United States.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen these things? They're like 3 times the size of the normal hornets.
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets should name their team the Murder Hornets. That would be banana. We might start winning some games. Forget the Charlotte. We the Murder Hornets now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna try to give you something positive. This one right here is for all you mothers out there that will be celebrating Mother's Day this weekend here. We just want to say that we appreciate you. We appreciate the struggles that you all have to go through. We appreciate the very essence of motherhood and that innate sense of nurturing that you as a woman, as a mother have. So with that, I send, and I'm sure on behalf of the rest of the guys here, we send our blessings to you, to your family. And we just hope that you have an enjoyable weekend. Don't let the circumstance sort of, nullify or, make obsolete the occasion. To me, this, Mother's Day is every single day. There's never a day that a mother takes off duty. So with that, I commend you all and just pray and hope that you all continue to do well.
Man,
No
big
doubt.
ups on that one, for real.
No doubt,
Big
man.
ups on that one. We need to always remember, mothers always are putting other people first. We need to remember to celebrate the mothers and not the motherfuckers. So big ups on that one, man.
Yeah, man. You dudes always be stealing some of this. I might have to start going first because y'all dudes always be having to make me annotate what I want to say because y'all get all profound and didactic and using big words and shit. See, you dudes, man. So
T-Streams always come out with the insightful, emotional shit, man.
I know.
That's why the women always love them.
Over there looking like T Socrates and shit. Talking about T-Stream. Poet.
Thinking man.
Yeah, man. So, Lord, so I got to come behind that now, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say something nice about Mother's Day, in particular because my wife in less than 7 weeks is going to be a mother for the first time. And for her, the journey, well, for both of us, is scary because it's something we haven't done. I have complete faith that she'll be one of the best mothers on the planet. And I really want to, while I'm celebrating her, celebrate all moms. Because one thing that men don't do, we don't give birth to the kids. We don't go through the trauma, the labor, and everything that a woman has to endure. And I've lived with this woman to see all the things she's had to endure just to give birth to something that's got my seed in it. So to all the mothers, and in particular my wife, who's a first-time mom, I wish you guys a happy Mother's Day. And for everything you have done to hold us together, everybody on this panel wants to say happy Mother's Day, be safe, and enjoy yourself. And that's all I got to say.
Big ups on that, man.
So everybody, we'll be back next week. Larry is going to be on tomorrow night with his co-host Pajama doing the movie reviews. You can always check out T-Streams on his Facebook group if you need any information about streaming. That's why his name is T-Streams. And y'all know y'all can always tap me up for everything we cover on the Lamont Tyson channel. And until that next sexy as hell video, we'll see you.
Don't go looking for them old VHSs.
Yeah. And if you find one, I'll pay y'all $50 for it. Peace.